I trusted my family, and they let me down. In the autumn of 2018, Krakow still smelled of wet cobblestones and roasting chestnuts when my world began to quietly fracture. I was 34, recently divorced, childless, and, for the first time in 15 years, living alone in a narrow apartment on Florianska Street, 2 floors above a tourist trap amber shop. The divorce had been civil, almost polite. Jakub kept the dog and most of the furniture. I kept my books and the small inheritance my mother left me when she died 7 years earlier. That money, euro 87,000 after taxes, was the only real cushion I had between me and nothing. I had been saving it for years, adding small deposits from my work as a freelance translator, dreaming of one day buying a modest flat somewhere quieter, maybe in Kazimierz or even outside the city, with a little garden and a view that didn't include tour buses. My younger brother, Marek, knew about the money. Everyone in the family did. We were close in the way that Polish families often are. Loud Sunday lunches at Babcia's old flat in Nowa Huta. Shared secrets, shared debts, shared guilt. Marek was 31, handsome in a careless way, and perpetually on the edge of something better. He had been a graphic designer, then a barista, then briefly a crypto enthusiast, then nothing for almost a year. He lived with our cousin Kasia in a cramped 2-room flat in Podgorze, sleeping on a fold-out couch and promising everyone that, next month, things would turn around. In early September he came to me with tears in his eyes, something I hadn't seen since our mother's funeral. He sat at my kitchen table, fingers twisting the handle of an empty coffee cup, and told me he had gotten a girl pregnant. Her name was Zofia. She was 25, worked as a receptionist at a small hotel near the Wawel, and wanted to keep the baby. Marek loved her, he said. He wanted to marry her. But he had nothing, no savings, no stable job, no apartment. The hotel was letting Zofia go because she was already showing and the owner didn't like complications. I need to show her I can take care of them, he whispered. I need to give her something real. Not promises. Asked how much. 60,000, he said, eyes on the table. Enough for a down payment on a small flat in the suburbs. The rest we'll manage with loans and her parents helping a little. I swear, Anka, I'll pay you back. Every zloty. With interest if you want. I can't ask her to have our child while we're sleeping on Kasia's couch. I believed him. Not because the story was flawless, it wasn't, but because I wanted to. Because I remembered how he used to protect me from our father's drunken rages when we were small. How he once broke 2 fingers trying to pull our father off me. Because he was my little brother, and in our family that still meant something. I transferred the money the next afternoon. 63,000 euros, converted to zloty at a terrible rate, but I didn't care. I told myself it was an investment in the future. His, Zofia's, and the child who would call me Chiosia. For 3 weeks everything seemed possible. Marek sent me photos of flats they were viewing, blurry shots of kitchens and tiny balconies. Zofia posted a picture of them holding hands in Planty Park, both smiling. He even started looking for jobs again, sending me screenshots of applications. I felt lighter than I had in years. Then, in the middle of October, the messages stopped. At first I told myself he was busy. Then I told myself he was embarrassed to tell me he hadn't found work yet. Then I called Kasia. She answered on the 4th ring, voice thin. He's gone, Anka. Gone where? Berlin. He left 2 weeks ago. Said he got a contract with some advertising agency. Said it was too good to pass up. Zofia isn't pregnant. Never was. She broke up with him in August. He told me he was going to pay you back once he got settled. Thought he would. I really did. There was a long silence on the line. He took my laptop too, Kasia added quietly. And most of the rent money I'd saved. I sat down on the floor of my hallway. The tiles were cold through my socks. I called Marek 17 times that evening. The number was disconnected by the next morning. The bank confirmed the transfer had gone through to an account in his name. After that, nothing. No trace of him opening a new account in Poland, no social media activity, no forwarding address. He vanished the way only someone who has planned to vanish can. I went to the police 2 days later. The officer was kind but unsurprised. Family disputes over money, he said, were rarely prosecuted successfully unless there was a signed contract. Did I have anything in writing? No. A text message promising repayment. No, only verbal. He suggested mediation. I laughed once, sharply, and left. For weeks I walked Krakow like a ghost. Past the Mariacki church where we used to light candles for our mother. Past the cafe on Spitalna where Marek and I used to split one cake and two forks when money was tight. Past the amber shop below my flat, where tourists haggled over the same necklaces every day. I kept waiting for the shame to arrive. Never did. What arrived instead was something colder. The slow realization that the person I trusted most in the world had looked at me, at my loneliness, at my fragile new beginning, and decided it was something he could spend. Christmas came. I spent it alone, lights off, eating pierogi from a plastic container. My phone stayed silent. No apologies, no excuses, no sudden, "I'm coming home." In March of the following year I received a single postcard. No return address. A photograph of the Brandenburg Gate at night. On the back, in his familiar slanted handwriting, "I'm sorry. I couldn't be the person you needed me to be. I hope one day you'll understand." I burned the postcard in the kitchen sink. The smoke alarm went off. I stood there coughing while the plastic curled and blackened. I never got the money back. I never heard from him again. Sometimes, late at night when the city is quiet except for the trams, I still catch myself wondering where he is. Whether he thinks about me. Whether he's ashamed. Whether he's happy. But mostly I wonder how someone can wake up one morning, look at the sister who once bandaged his bleeding knees and cried with him at their mother's grave, and decide that she is simply a sum of money that can be taken. I still live in the same apartment on Florianska Street. I still translate novels for money that barely covers rent. I still walk past the amber shop every day. But I no longer believe that family is the last safe place. Because the last safe place can look you in the eye, smile, say, "I love you," and then quietly empty your future while you're looking the other way. And when it's gone, what's left is just you. Smaller, harder, and very much alone.